I wonder whether
there was a big majority on this first day for the British government's view that the measures agreed in Lisbon are good for Britain and Europe. And the Foreign Secretary set out this view against the opposition, who think there should be a referendum.
The bill will give effect in United Kingdom law to changes agreed last October at the European Council in Lisbon to the treaties establishing the European Communities and the European Union. The government is convinced that Britain's membership and full engagement with the European Union is good for Britain and good for Europe, and we believe this treaty is good for Britain and good for Europe. The treaty is the fifth such treaty since the late Edward Heath negotiated UK's entry into the European Union in 1973. The treaty will improve the way the EU works. It will adapt the EU's institutions to a union of 27. It will ensure the voice of Europe's nations is heard more loudly in foreign policy. It brings national parliaments into day-to-day decision-making to strengthen subsidiarity. And it focuses the EU on the big external challenges from climate change to migration. But, just let me set out the argument in one moment. This treaty is unique, however, in one regard. It marks the end of a process of institutional reform, a process that has gone on too long and taken too much energy, but a process which, if this treaty is ratified around Europe, is well and truly over. Speaker, there is a political
the opposition to this bill from both Conservatives and some Labour MPs is mainly on the grounds that there should be a referendum, as it represents a new constitution.
The real issue is the content of this treaty, and in structure, in content and in consequence, it is different from the Constitution and does not meet, I will give way to right honourable gentlemen, it does not meet the bar of whether it constitutes fundamental constitutional change. For the first time, national parliaments will have a direct say in the EU's law-making procedures on a day-to-day basis. National parliaments will now be able to decide to challenge a proposal. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the government also believes Europe needs reform of its voting system to take account of enlargement. The treaty finally does this. In future, population size, as well as the number of states, is important to decision-making. This will raise the proportion of votes in the UK, in UK hands, from 8 to 12%. Mr. Deputy Speaker,
and to those in opposition who argue that Britain would be better off outside the European Union, especially with the new treaty, the Foreign Secretary had this to say.
In respect of tax and social security, better off out, Mr. Deputy Speaker, from a single market with 3 million jobs, better off out of the European arrest warrant and effective action against terrorism, better off out of joint action to tackle climate change. No, Mr. Deputy Speaker, Britain is not better off out. If we care about global trade, global poverty and global warming, we are better off in, at the heart of Europe, shaping the European Union and making sure it delivers on the issues that matter to us. That is what this treaty offers, that is what the government offers, and I commend it to the House.